When most of the time when I'm praying, actually, I think I'm probably nagging God for something or other because I'm kind of get a bit desperate. But that's quite nice in a way. I think that I'm sure God doesn't mind the fact that I do see Him as the answer to everything in the end, even if I might otherwise bore a lesser being to pieces with my nagging. My better times, I think what prayer is about is spending time with God. It's a bit like just spending time with a friend. And actually, in the spending time together, one finds out something about each other. And therefore, for me, prayer ought, I suppose, to be a bit more about finding out about God by spending time with God. And it can be with the scriptures, but sometimes it's just in silence and just listening to what God is saying as well. Sometimes God speaks in silence, which sounds a bit of a contradiction in terms, but for me, you just find something's been said that's a bit beyond words even, and therefore difficult to explain and put into words. And I suppose you know that it's happened because having spent the time, you know that you feel different, you feel at peace, or you feel slightly more decisive or less anxious. And in that way, I know that something has happened between me and God, even though you can't necessarily put it into words. That can be quite a little bit scary at times because it's quite challenging, and so sometimes it's quite easy to put off spending that time with God because you actually feeling a little bit too delicate to actually face that sort of challenge. So you kind of revert to the nagging again. But I think that's kind of key for me. And even when I pray together with others in a formal setting, even at times when it doesn't seem to be speaking to me, that spending time with God has made a difference to me. You know, even if I'm sort of bored silly by the sermon or whatever, or I don't like the music, still I've been spending time with God, and that's made a difference to me, and how my life is going at that time, and given it a different direction than it would have had I not spent that time.